wasn't enough to stop the horror that was about to befall Mercedes Moore. On August 29th, 2021, Mark Gagne had just returned from a fishing trip when he received a worrying phone call from his other daughter, London, claiming she had not heard from Janae in days. Mark thought she might have suffered a tragic accident. However, as he moved further into the apartment, the truth became horrifyingly clear. The apartment was in complete disarray, with blood visible in multiple areas. What was even more chilling were the messages written on the walls in lipstick. Kevin Alexander Acorto, a 34-year-old man who had been stalking Janae online, had broken into her home and spent 2 days inside, writing disturbing messages.
What the f? What's up, everybody, man? Yo, come, man, we back with another video, man. As y'all see, man, we reacting to this fool right here, man. As y'all see by the title, man, ain't no words, man. We finna just get into it, man.
Body was found in her apartment in Fort Bend County, along with the body of a man who killed her on Sunday. And now her family has come forward to share their heartbreak as they search for answers following this disturbing discovery.
I've moved my daughter 3 times just because of my insecurities and the freeze, of course, but she doesn't have friends by her house. I know my daughter, and when I got to my daughter's house, and it was locked up, and she's not answering my phone, which is not like her, I knew something was up, so I didn't hesitate to kick the door down. And what I saw, I wouldn't want any parent to go through. That's the first thing. The second thing is, which is even more hurtful.
After gaining strong popularity in nightclubs, Mercedes Moore, who had more than 2.6 million followers on Instagram, was already considered famous. She was usually seen with the likes of Drake, Travis Scott, and Offset, all of whom are celebrities. Mercedes Moore decided to take her popularity a step further by opening an OnlyFans account. This way, she could meet the growing demands of her fans faster while making a huge profit on the side.
I understand you want to make more money, you want to get more popularity, but OnlyFans, it's not good. It's not good for y'all females, man. It's not good.
Things were going really smoothly, and she had plans to take her career a step further by opening a clothing line. With her popularity, this would have earned her a massive financial boost. I use the phrase would have, because tragically, her success was cut short in the blink of an eye when a stalker made a move, driving from Florida to Texas to do something unthinkable. Something that made other celebrities feel unsafe and fear for their lives.
He drove from Florida to Houston? What?
What could have led to this tragic event? And what were the motives behind this stalker's heinous act? Before we continue, we would like to express our deepest condolences to the family and friends of Mercedes Moore,
Rest in
who
peace
had
to you.
to deal with the pain of losing their loved one on that fateful day. This case takes us all the way Texas. Houston, Texas, founded in 1836 and named after Sam Houston, a prominent figure in the Texas Revolution and the first president of the Republic of Texas, is one of the state's largest and most influential cities. With a population of over 2.3 million people, Houston is known for its diverse culture, significant contributions to the energy sector, and vibrant art scene. The city features a blend of historic and modern architecture, reflecting its rapid growth and development. Houston has a higher crime rate compared to national averages, with approximately 37.5 crimes per 1,000 residents. Violent crimes occur at a rate of about 9.7 per 1,000 residents, including offenses such as assault, robbery, and homicide. Despite these statistics, the city is actively working on public safety through various programs and initiatives to enhance residents' quality of life. It is here, in this bustling city, that we find Janae Gagne and her family. Janae Gagne, also known as Miss Mercedes Moore on social media, was born on November 26, 1987. She was born to parents Mark Gagne and Janetta Grover. Moore was her parents' oldest daughter and she was considered not just a loving, dependable big sister, but also a daddy's girl and her mother's best friend. Janae grew up in Houston alongside her sister London. As for her mother and father, they both spent their younger adult years in the military, after which they left military service in order to get married and shortly thereafter opened their own restaurant. Janae was very intelligent, feminine, and business-minded. At the young age of 12, she had already begun braiding people's hair in her garage for money. She clearly loved both fashion and money, but things were about to turn sour for their family. At a very young age, Janae's parents got divorced, prompting Janae and her sister to undertake the tedious task of traveling interstate in order to be with either of their parents, with one remaining in Texas and the other moving to California. This breakup caused many issues, with Janae often acting out against her mother and father, and this behavior followed her even into high school. She often got into trouble with other girls at school, although it was not unusual to see high school students misbehave, especially teenagers nearing graduation. Shortly after high school, Janae moved to college to become a dental assistant, but she soon dropped out of school and moved in with her new boyfriend, who had relocated to Las Vegas. Shortly after moving to Las Vegas, she took up a job as a professional dancer in a strip club, where she adopted her viral name, Mercedes Moore, with Mercedes representing luxury and Moore indicating her unending quest for this luxury. Janae's parents became worried about her sudden change in lifestyle, leading to a series of family discussions. However, these worry-filled conversations soon turned into ones filled with pleasure, as Mercedes began making up to $5,000 a weekend. It became clear she was good at what she was doing, and her parents eventually accepted it. Although Mercedes was now successful as a dancer at a strip club, this wasn't where she wanted to end up. She began using her newfound influence and network to go higher, and soon, her social media began to blow up, especially her Instagram, where she was later seen hanging out with celebrities like Drake, Travis Scott, and Offset. This further boosted her fame in the industry, prompting her to stop dancing at the strip club altogether. She moved over to modeling and partying, including modeling on OnlyFans. For people who might not know OnlyFans, it is a subscription-based social media platform where users can sell a variety of content of themselves to others for a monthly fee, sometimes yearly, which often included explicit content. Mercedes further pivoted into selling branded sportswear and hair extensions. She was a very smart and opportunistic businesswoman who planned to use her newfound fame to the fullest. She had risen to the top of her game, as having 2 million followers was a huge feat for anyone at that time. However, with this fame came its challenges. Mercedes had shown interest in certain men at different times in her life, but none of her relationships lasted, as most wanted her to stop modeling and even quit her OnlyFans career, which was a major source of her income. Many men came and went until she eventually met a man who was ready to accept her and her career. The identity of this man is unknown as of now. In fact, Mercedes, who had already moved in with him, was already talking about marriage and children, something her parents had never known her to speak of. However, completely unrelated to her boyfriend, the drama in Mercedes' life was about to begin unfolding. She had begun having serious security concerns due to the kind of attention her job attracted. In fact, she had already been doxxed 4 years earlier by a fan who leaked her address online, and we all know how dangerous doxing can be, especially with people who do not know how to respect boundaries. Mercedes didn't feel comfortable in her own home anymore. She didn't care much about verbal harassment or online comments. She was just very paranoid about her safety and feared being stalked. She became extremely careful with what she posted online and even moved to a gated community called Cortland Apartments in Richmond, Texas. Cortland Apartments, located in the southwest of Richmond City Center, is a gated community with moderate security and a few fast food joints. But with the amount of doxing Mercedes was experiencing, moderate security was not what she needed. She became increasingly cautious about what she posted online, but she still managed to let small details slip out, including details about her front door. In gated communities, people often follow protocols such as using security alarms, camera systems, and even opting to live in an apartment instead of a house. But sadly, following these protocols and more wasn't enough to stop the horror that was about to befall Mercedes Moore. On August 29, 2021, Mark Gagne had just returned from a fishing trip when he received a worrying phone call from his other daughter, London, claiming she had not heard from Janae in days. This was odd, considering the fact that Janae was very close to the family, especially her father. What was even more concerning was the fact that Janae had not posted on social media in 3 days. This was alarming because Janae never missed a day of posting. After all, she was either becoming or already had become a celebrity, and the celebrity lifestyle is synonymous with regular posting to satisfy fans. To make matters worse, Mark realized that the last time he spoke with his daughter was 10 days ago, when they were on a call, and she asked him to come stay with her for a while because her boyfriend was out of town. This was understandable given her recent experiences that made her grow scared of staying alone. Mark didn't want to keep guessing, so he traveled to her Cortland apartment to get first-hand information from his daughter. Upon arriving, he noticed her BMW parked outside, which meant she had to be inside. After a series of unanswered knocks, he decided to kick the door down, and he saw something shocking, something that brought his worst fear to reality.
She doesn't have friends by our house. I know my daughter, and when I got to my daughter's house, and it was locked up, and she's not answering my phone, which is not like her, I knew something was up, so I didn't hesitate to kick the door down. And what I saw, I wouldn't want any parent to go through.
Janae was lying motionless at the bottom of the stairs.
Oh
her
my
clothes
God.
torn. Initially, Mark thought she might have suffered a tragic accident. However, as he moved further into the apartment, the truth became horrifyingly clear. The apartment was in complete disarray, with blood visible in multiple areas. What was even more chilling were the messages written on the walls in lipstick. Kevin Alexander Acorto, a 34-year-old man who had been stalking Janae online, had broken into her home and spent 2 days inside, writing disturbing messages. Phrases like, "I should have stayed in Florida," "I wish I never loved her," and "I was used," were scrawled across the walls, revealing a mind consumed by obsession and regret. The clip to follow shows what he actually wrote on the wall that day.
Man, what the f?
As Mark continued through the apartment, he discovered Acorto upstairs, barely alive, with a knife plunged into his neck. Acorto was twitching and gurgling, struggling with the self-inflicted wound that would soon take his life. Mark.
So you gonna take this innocent woman life, then you gonna unalive yourself right after that, bro?
Watched in shock as Acorto died moments later, unable to process the horror that had unfolded in his daughter's home. The tragedy was the result of a man's delusional obsession with Janae, whom he likely never met in person but had followed obsessively online. Despite Janae's efforts to keep her personal life private and secure, Acorto had somehow tracked her down, leading to this devastating murder-suicide that shattered her family and left a haunting memory for her father. After the tragic news broke that Mercedes Moore had been killed, a wave of rumors and misinformation quickly followed. Despite the confirmation that her death was the result of a violent attack, unfounded narratives began to circulate on social media. Some claimed that she had died from AIDS, while others speculated that COVID-19 was the cause. Others claimed it was a violent sugar daddy. These rumors were entirely baseless, lacking any credible evidence, and served only to confuse and mislead the public.
And it went from false accusations of HIV or COVID to other things, and nobody even reached out to talk to us.
Most people focus too much on the dangers of being famous online, especially on platforms like OnlyFans. While it's true that public figures have unique risks, this view often ignores bigger issues like mental health, privacy invasion, and the need for better protection against stalking and harassment. The attention on her social media presence sometimes overshadowed the fact that she was a victim of a violent crime, turning her life and death into just a warning about the risks of being an online influencer. Not much was known about Kevin Acorto, the murderer. He was a regular guy who traveled all the way from Florida to commit this heinous act, and he had a spotless criminal record before now, with traffic violations being the only known bad record about him. The autopsy report for Janae Gagne, also known as Mercedes Moore, concluded that she died from strangulation and a traumatic concussion. The findings indicated that her death was the result of a violent attack, consistent with being physically overpowered and asphyxiated. There was evidence of blunt force trauma to her head, suggesting that she was subjected to a brutal assault before being strangled. Despite the initial assumptions of a break-in, the investigation later revealed that there were no signs of forced entry into Janae's apartment. This discovery led to questions about how Kevin Alexander Acorto, her killer, was able to access her home. Given the absence of any broken windows, doors, or locks, authorities speculated that Acorto may have entered the apartment through an unlocked door, or by somehow gaining her trust or deceiving her into letting him in, because her apartment was on the second floor and had only one way in, which was the staircase. It was also possible that he had been able to tailgate behind her into the secure apartment complex, slipping inside without her knowledge. However, the precise details of how he gained entry remain unclear, contributing to the unsettling nature of the crime. Forensics were able to determine that Mercedes didn't know Kevin, and that they had no relationship or friendship prior to the incident. The public reaction to the death of Mercedes Moore was one of shock and grief, especially among her large following on social media platforms like Instagram and OnlyFans. As news of her death spread, many fans and fellow influencers expressed their sorrow and paid tribute to her online. Hashtags such as RIP Mercedes Moore began trending, with thousands of people posting condolences and sharing their disbelief over the tragic news, even to the point of holding vigils in her honor. However, there were also darker elements to the public reaction. Some individuals engaged in victim blaming, making insensitive comments that linked her career as a model and content creator to her death. This narrative was met with strong pushback from others who condemned such attitudes as misogynistic and pointed out that no one deserves to be victimized, regardless of their profession. Mercedes Moore's family, particularly her parents, were devastated by her death. Her father, Mark Gagne, who discovered her body, described the scene as something no parent should ever have to witness. Both Mark and her mother, Janetta Grover, spoke publicly about the impact of their loss, emphasizing how loving and kind-hearted Janae was in her personal life, beyond her public persona as Mercedes Moore.
She was sweet with them as she is with us. She took care of people. She's just a sweetheart. And my baby's
her and her mom look just alike
from a
too.
tragic event that didn't have to happen.
Wow.
It was just dangerous.
Her sister London took to her Instagram to express the impact of the loss, and her words were heart-wrenching. In interviews, her parents also expressed anger and frustration over the circumstances of her death, particularly how someone was able to become so obsessed with their daughter through social media. They criticized the lack of adequate protection for public figures who face stalking and harassment, calling for greater awareness and preventive measures to protect others from similar tragedies. The family's grief was compounded by the spread of false narratives and misinformation about Janae's death, which they had to address publicly. They were firm in clarifying that Janae was not personally acquainted with her killer and that she had been a victim of a predatory stalker. Various celebrities expressed shock at the news of her death and even supported her family in the tough moment using their various means. Two of such examples were Tori Ianez and Drake, with Tori Ianez taking to his Instagram to express shock and Drake dedicating a full album called certified lover boy to her.
You got my full respect, Drake.
How Kevin managed to track Janae remained a mystery, but reports, although not confirmed, suggested that most of her fans did send her gifts, and usually they would send these gifts to addresses either detailed or by P.O. Box. So many suggested this was one means he used, and coupled with the fact that she did take pictures in her home, especially the one in front of her door, could have been a means with which he confirmed the identification of the home.
She just was so happy and so funny and just so loving, and she just loved to
Right, it
joke
would be all
around.
about her.
Yeah, as it is.
We
as
wouldn't
it
be up
should
here. It would be all about you.
The parents gotta be the strongest people in the world, bro. Because I would not be able to be on them cameras. I would be literally crying down. Wouldn't be able to talk. Be sick, throwing up. There are some strong parents for them to get on the news, to get on the cameras. You know, stay strong, man. I would be hurt, devastated. They are strong parents, man. These are strong parents.
And we're gonna remember that amazing spirit, that funny laugh, that 4 foot.
I wouldn't be able to laugh. I wouldn't be able to talk.
Body, but that 8 foot tall, experience that we all got. So I appreciate her and love her, and we'll miss her forever and ever, ever and ever.
The Mercedes Moore case teaches us important lessons about privacy and safety. It shows why we need to be careful about what we share online, as personal details can be misused. We should also be mindful of our digital presence and stay alert to potential threats.
Stay alert, man. So we're basically about this story, man. Like, not all money is good money, you feel me? Like, she took it to OnlyFans. That wasn't a good way to go. She didn't know that. She just wanted to get more money, which I understand. She was trying to borrow. She was doing her thing, man. But, OnlyFans, man, especially because you're a female, man, they going to come target you, man. They see you got a good body, man. They see you. I mean, they say they saw a picture of your address leak. You was taking a picture by your door with the little number showing and stuff like that. Like, man, it's just crazy, man. Like, bro, just drew from Florida to Houston just to get her, just to what he did to her, bro. Then he fought her and strangled her out and did all that weird shit, man. Like, that's crazy, man. Y'all let me know what y'all think about this, man. Like, I appreciate that woman, man. The parents are strong. I hope the sis doing all right as well, man. That is crazy, man. That is crazy. Y'all females start carrying them blickies, man.